welcome back. Hey, it's Abigail with Medicare with Jake. Excited to spend a little time with you today. And we're going to discuss prescription drug coverage with Medicare. So believe it or not, up to about 17-ish years ago, we did not have prescription drug coverage on Medicare. It's kind of hard to believe. People used coupons, discount cards, got samples from their doctor, right? I mean, anything you could do to try and cover those costs. But now we have Medicare Part D. I just tell people, think D for drugs. That's the easiest way to remember that. Medicare Part D is your prescription drug coverage. How do you cover that part of your Medicare? So that's a question we're going to address today. So there's really a couple of ways you can get that covered through your Medicare. Original Medicare, A and B, does not cover that, right? Medicare Part A is your hospital, Medicare Part B is the doctor medical coverage. So that is not covered on the red, white, and blue original Medicare. Medicare Part D is offered by private insurance companies. So every state, and sometimes it even varies by counties, these are going to be covered by private companies, and you're going to have a slew of options that are really going to be determined by your set of medications as well as your pharmacy preference. Pharmacies will make a huge difference and have a huge impact on your cost. So working with an advisor, we're going to put in all of your medications very exactly. Exact dosages, exact quantities. If it's a capsule or a tablet, believe it or not, that'll make a difference. So we want to make sure we enter in your exact medications as well as your pharmacy preference. If you just love your pharmacist, we're going to prioritize that pharmacy. If you say, hey, just give me my cheapest option, we're going to compare the best in your area and get you the right option for you based on cost and coverage. So that's how we're going to determine which is the right plan. And you can get that covered in a couple of ways. One is what we would call a standalone prescription drug plan. This is typically going to be paired with original Medicare and a Medicare supplement or a Medigap to cover the medical portion costs of your Medicare, and then a standalone prescription drug plan that you pay for separately. These are going to come with a monthly premium. You're going to pay that private insurance company so much per month. There are plans under $10 all the way up to over $100. It really depends on where you live and your medications, and again, pharmacy, but we're going to find that right fit for you by looking up those medications in pharmacy. Whenever we do this, we're looking for your least expensive option, not your cheapest. And by that, I mean, if it's going to cover your medications better, it might cost you a couple dollars more a month, but you're going to pay less throughout the year. And that's what we're really interested in. How can we get you the most cost-effective coverage on this? So a standalone prescription drug plan, you pay the private insurance company monthly. You can write one check for the year. You can have it taken out of your Social Security. You can have it taken out of a bank draft. There's a lot of different ways you can pay for that. But that plan is now going to be your coverage for the rest of that year. The other way you can get that covered is through a Medicare Advantage prescription drug plan, or an MAPD. So not every Medicare Advantage plan includes prescription drug coverage. So we want to make sure if you need prescription coverage through Medicare, we get an MAPD plan, the Medicare Advantage with prescription drug coverage. Now, many of those plans are zero premium, not all of them certainly, but you don't pay separately for the prescription portion. So whatever the plan costs, that's what you're paying if there's any premium at all. And that includes your prescription coverage. We determine your right Medicare Advantage plan with prescription drug coverage the same way as we would a standalone plan. We're going to enter in your medications, your pharmacy. We're going to make sure we're not just picking a random plan out of a hat, right? We want to make sure that the plan that's chosen is the right plan for you and your current set of medications and circumstances. One thing that's really nice about these plans, our needs change, right? We can end up with new medications we weren't taking before. We've gotten off of medications. We've been able to remove medications from our list. So we want to make sure that you have the opportunity to make changes, or Medicare, I should say, wants to make sure you can make changes. So every year from October 15th through December 7th, that's our window of opportunity to review your coverage and determine whether or not the plan you have now is still the right plan for you next year, or if we need to make some adjustments and see what plans are going to cover you better. So that does happen every single year. We review these plans with our clients every year. Sometimes it's a simple phone call. There's not been a lot of changes. Hey, your plan is still the right plan. Keep it. Keep doing what you're doing, and we're going to start over the next year. But sometimes it does require a change, and we want to make sure that we're on top of that from year to year. I don't ever want a client paying too much or suddenly losing coverage without having had the opportunity to review their options. So that's how you can get prescription drug coverage through Medicare. There's a couple of different ways. There are a handful of groups that are exempt from having to get prescription coverage through Medicare. That is somewhat of its own topic, but quickly, veterans who have access through the VA or through TRICARE, certain groups like that, Native Americans, they are able to actually be exempt from getting their prescriptions through Medicare. So there are some people, some demographics that don't have to have a Medicare prescription drug plan, but the majority of us do. We need to make sure we've got that coverage, not only to cover ourselves for having medications if we do take anything, but even if we don't, because there's a penalty for not having prescription drug coverage when we're eligible for it. And I want to make sure that none of our clients end up in that penalty. That penalty, if it does get incurred, it actually lasts the rest of your life. Whatever it adds up to and accumulates to, you're going to pay that penalty every month on top of your premiums for the rest of your life. So we want to avoid that. So you can cover it through a standalone prescription drug plan or through a Medicare Advantage with prescription drug coverage plan, unless you're one of those populations that's exempt. So that really addresses the question of how do I get prescription drug coverage? This is going to be part of a series. We've got another video we're going to talk about really the different phases of a prescription drug plan. How do I pay? What do I pay? What are the different costs? So stay tuned for that. Thank you for being here today.